BlazeTV host of Sara Gonzales Unfiltered. It was really hard. We started with a name, and then we're like, we got to find a Sara Gonzales to be able to do this show. We might have thought about doing it a different way, but we found her, and she's perfect. She is the perfect Sara Gonzales to host Unfiltered. Sara, welcome to the program. How are you?
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm good. I consider that job security, Glenn. You're not going to find another Sara Gonzales, and we've already named the show. So,
yeah, we looked. So anyway, you're doing another Blaze original. We've all been doing this. This is episode 5. The documentary is called Voter Fraud Exposed: How Elections Can Be Stolen. I have to tell you, I saw a rough cut of it, I don't even know, a couple weeks ago. Oh, my gosh, Sara.
yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
Just Michigan alone is... I mean, you sat down with the woman who was the Secretary of State, right?
Yes. Yeah. Ruth
And
Johnson.
I believe she was replaced by a Secretary of State that was part of the George Soros thing.
Correct. Yes. Jocelyn Benson. Yes.
And give people a clue on just Michigan.
Sure. So, yes, in 2018, Jocelyn Benson replaced Ruth Johnson. Ruth Johnson was a, Republican who, more importantly, was interested in doing the right thing when it came to, protecting the voter rolls and keeping them secure and fresh and, dated. And so, or I should say, not outdated. And so what Jocelyn Benson did, she is, as you pointed out, Soros-funded. She is former SPLC, just to give you an idea of who she is and what she's about. Yeah. And so she is one of these...
Southern, in case you don't know that Southern Poverty Law Center, which is the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So she is part of the Secretary of State project that George Soros is funding. So she comes in to the state of Michigan, and she tries to allow Michigan to count ballots that were received after Election Day. She was luckily sued and lost that battle. But since then, we've had ballot referendums that you can have same-day registration. This is Proposition 3 in Michigan. You can have same-day registration, and you can register without showing a photo ID in the state of Michigan, and your vote counts. Yes.
I mean, you need a photo ID for anything.
Everything.
Except for the most important thing a citizen can do.
Right. And well, and we point out in the documentary, it's like, if I were not just in the state of Michigan, but I would imagine most other states and cities, if you go to your local library, you can't get a library card without showing your ID. It is insane that you shouldn't have to show your ID in order to participate in the voting process. And by the way, this is something else we point out, it's like almost 80% of Americans, both left and right, agree that you should have to show a photo ID in order to vote. This is not a partisan thing.
Eden Pure is back with their famous Thunderstorm air purifier. It's their top seller air purifier that quickly destroys viruses, odors, mold, and so much more. With thousands of 5-star reviews, you know it works. Any smell will vanish after just a few seconds of the Thunderstorm being plugged in. Odors, litter boxes, trash cans, cigarette smokes, dirty diapers. Wow, I don't want to visit that house. The powerful Thunderstorm sends out O3 molecules that seek out and destroy odors. I have these in my house. They're great. The molecules go behind and under furniture. Nothing can hide from the Thunderstorm. Best of all, no filters to buy over and over again, saving you money. Start enjoying your home again and get several Thunderstorms. Right now, you can save $200 on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for the whole home protection. You get 3 units for under $200. Put one in your basement, bedroom, family room, kitchen, wherever you need the air to be clean. Go to EdenPureDeals.com, EdenPureDeals.com. Use the promo code Beck and save.
I go down the street from our ranch. There's a big lake across the street, and I have to go about, 5 miles to this little little kind of general store. I had to get a fishing license. I needed ID. Everybody in there knows who I am. I needed ID to be able to get a fishing license.
Did you guys see Texas Representative Wesley Hunt talk about this?
No.
Yesterday? No. It's brilliant. He shows all of his government-issued, he's black, He shows all of his government-issued IDs, including a driver's license and, a passport. And he's got like 6 different forms of ID showing how insulting it is that the left is saying that blacks don't have ID. It's ridiculous.
Well, this will give you kind of a clue into how sinister this initiative is that Republicans in the state of Michigan actually, they had a bill that they passed that was going to expand and allow free photo ID for people. So there would be no excuse to say, well, it's too expensive. And, the idea is that minorities can't afford it, I guess, which is inherently racist
and we've been told they don't know where the DMV is.
Right. Which, again, seems a little racist to assume.
Sure does.
But so Governor Gretchen Whitmer actually vetoed that bill.
Oh, jeez.
But just to give you an idea of where, what possible reason, as our friend Steve Deace likes to say, what is the innocent, benign explanation for vetoing such legislation? Mm-hmm. There isn't one.
So they can't even now, because of this new legislation, they can't even ask for ID.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So you go in, right, to the voting booth. You want to go into the voting booth. You go in and you say, my name's Glenn Beck, and, they'll probably, maybe, I don't even know. Do they ask for an address? And they look you up if you're on the rolls. Or in the case of Michigan, you can now just register. You can go in and say, I'm not registered. I want to register right now. Mm-hmm. But none of it is hooked up to the internet. So they can't verify anything.
Right.
And so you can go in and register and then just get a ballot and vote.
What could go wrong?
This is what could possibly go wrong.
And it's always from the left, who claims that they care so much about democracy, which is just so laughable at this point. Not that we have a democracy, but if you did care about democracy and you did care, about the state of your country, you would want election integrity and security. That would be at the top of your list. And instead, they are trying to, in the state of Michigan, I'll go back to Michigan again. In the state of Michigan, they now have a constitutional right to vote by mail. You are talking about such an outdated system. I think France banned it in 1975. France uses paper. All of these other first world countries, civilized countries, have decided that mail-in voting is terrible, a horrible way of doing things.
Of course it is.
Jimmy Carter co-authored a bipartisan report that said we cannot have mail-in voting because it makes it more likely to have fraud and all sorts. This was something that we all agreed upon decades ago, and now all of a sudden there are states that are run by these left-wing secretaries of state, and they are going in and changing the system to allow these types of things.
Let me ask the average person. You're driving in your car and you hear about Glenn's bank. Say that you knew a Glenn that had any kind of credibility at all. It's
Too
Glenn's
bad I
bank,
don't.
and we invite you in to put your money in our bank, and we're going to make it easy for you to write checks. We're going to make it easy for you to come and withdraw your money. We're never going to ask you for ID. Would you put your money in that bank?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Right. So why would we do this with on anything? On anything. It's crazy. So give me some white pill news, can you?
Yeah, I think so. Everyone will see when they go and watch this new Blaze Originals that they can go watch right now. They will see some hope in the sense that there are organizations that are working around the clock to prevent these types of things from happening. They are largely successful in the courts. One of them is, of course, PILF, the Public Interest Legal Foundation. I spoke with them. They are suing the crap out of these states and out of these secretaries of states who are engaging in this business. They are suing about the, all of the dead people on the voter rolls in the state of Michigan. Mm-hmm. The RNC is now suing the state of Michigan for the, it's just that there's 105% of Michigan population that's currently registered to vote. And, I'm not great at math, but I'm good enough to know that there's something a little
Right.
bit wrong with that. So
Right. It's hard to have 105% of anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to have 105% of that pie over there. Wow.
Right.
That's a skill.
Right. So, I mean, in talking to these experts, they say vote. Don't be discouraged and not vote, because we can still blow them out. We can still overwhelm the system, and we should. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Knowledge is power. I mean, we are exposing these people for what they are doing, and the more exposure that we can give them, the less likely it is that they are able to just commit this in broad daylight. And like I said, we have these legal foundations who are suing these states, and in most cases, in a lot of cases, they are largely successful in that. So if Secretary of State Benson isn't going to remove dead people from her voter rolls until the courts force her to, well, you know what? At the end of the day, she's still going to be forced to remove these people. So we are making moves. We have organizations that are tackling this, but we have to expose this for what it really is.
I will tell you, I think that there is a good chance that a landslide does happen. I mean, I just can't imagine going into the booth and you being a Democrat and pulling the lever for more of this and saying, yeah, I think Joe Biden is the guy to trust with possible World War III. I think he's got the economy right. I think, all of the things that he has done. You might pull it for RFK Jr. or Trump, but I just cannot see people voting for him. And honestly, when people ask themselves, was I better off 4 years ago? Like a lot better off? The answer is yes. And we've always asked, I wish somebody would just run this place like a business. Well, that's what Donald Trump was doing. And look at the results until COVID happened. So go out and vote. I think if everybody, they're going to try to blackpill you. But if you don't listen to that and you go out and vote, I think the numbers will be overwhelming. But what do I know?
Well, I would tell you this too, Glenn. There are certain states that have already passed election integrity, and voter security laws. So states like Georgia, Texas, Tennessee, Florida. I mean, the more states that are passing these voter integrity laws, which I know the left will tell you is racist, and they'll tell you they're not allowing you to drink water in line and all of these other lies. The fact of the matter is these are states that are making elections more secure, and we can have other states follow suit in that.
All right, Blaze Original, episode number 5, Voter Fraud Exposed, How Elections Can Be Stolen. It's a new doc, and it's out now. If you are a Blaze TV subscriber, if you're not, go to blazetv.com/Glenn. And what is the promo code? Is it Voter Fraud?
Voter fraud, yes.
Yeah, Voter Fraud. And you can watch it now. It's available on Blaze TV. Sarah, thank you so much.
Thank you.